What's up YouTube, it's your boy the Vulpix and I'm back with another video. We have 18 games late to dive into today. I'm going to give out my predictions on the match bets, like the money lines. I'm going to give out my predictions on the bookings, the goals, the corners, and everything. So I really kindly advise that you sit back, get a pen and paper, and then we go through these predictions together. If you are new to the channel, please welcome to the family. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss out on any quality predictions. And I honestly advise that you join my Telegram and you join my WhatsApp channel. Yesterday we won a 2-odd slip on the Telegram, so I haven't been posting on YouTube since last week Wednesday. I've actually been quite busy, so I'm going to start posting consistently again on YouTube. And yeah, just join the Telegram and join the Telegram and join the WhatsApp channel. So these are the game. So as you can see, I have 4 slips for us today. We have a 2-odd slip, double your money slip, we have a 3-time slip, and we have a 10-odd slip and a 20-odd slip. All these slips are going to be posted. All these slips are going to be talked about at the end of the video. So we go into the first game, which is Ajax versus Olympiacos. Ajax really don't need this game. If you ask me, they're already out of the Champions League, and Olympiacos need a win. Olympiacos need a win to qualify for the playoff rounds. So my picks for this game is Olympiacos to score anytime. That's one of them. The other pick that we have is over 1.5 goals and over 2.5 bookings. I think today is going to be a very good day for bet builders. Depending on when you're seeing the video, if you've seen it today on the Tuesday, the day before, then yeah, tomorrow. But then yeah, these are the picks that I have for this game. I really won't say much on this game. It's a must-win game for Olympiacos. Same with Ajax, but Ajax really don't have a chance of progressing to the next round, if you ask me. The next game that we have is Arsenal versus Kairat Almaty. This game is pretty much straightforward. Arsenal have won 7 games from 7 in the Champions League, and they've already qualified for the next round. So if you want, you can stay away from the game. I honestly suggest that you stay away from the game. But if you want to bite the bait, then my picks for this game is over 2.5 goals and Arsenal to win, and over 2.5 goals. I think Gyökeres is going to start this game. I don't see Jesus starting this game. I think Gyökeres starts this game, so he might even score. So yeah, these are my predictions for this game. The next game that we have is Monaco versus Juve. Pretty much straightforward. Monaco is a pretty inconsistent team right now at the moment, and they're one of my favorite teams in France, but this season they've been disappointing, underwhelming. So whereas they're coming against a Juve side that is well in form, I think they are unbeaten in 3 games. They've only lost 1 game in the past 5 games against Cagliari in the Serie A. So my picks for this game is under 3.5 goals. I really don't see. I think this game is going to end 2-1. I don't know to who, but I see it ending 2-1 or 3-0. But I see under 3.5 goals certainly happening in this game. And then the next pick that we have is draw first 10 minutes, meaning that if the game is 1-1, 0-0 in the first 10 minutes, then our sleep is green. The next game that we have is Inter Milan versus Athletic Club versus Sporting. Pretty much straightforward as well. Under 2.5 goals, Athletic Club, over 2.5 bookings the whole game. I am really leaning on the under 2.5 goals, considering that Athletic Club are very inconsistent as well. I mean, they did win their game against Atalanta last week 3-2, but I don't see them beating Sporting in this game. I see a draw, if you ask me. I see a draw. You guys will let me know in the comment section, but I see a draw for this game. The next game that we have is Atletico Madrid versus Porto Glimt, and my picks for this game, Atletico Madrid to win in full time. And then the player prop that we have for tomorrow is Alexander Soler to have a shot on target. Depending on your bookmaker, I don't think it's advisable to turn it to 2 shots on target, so you can do 3 shots anytime, because I know with some bookmakers the odds for him to have a shot on target won't actually be good, but I think this is a very good market to look into, just in case Atletico Madrid decide to disappoint a lot of investors on the day. The next game that we have is Barcelona versus Copenhagen. Pretty much straightforward. First half, Barcelona win or draw. Barcelona and over 2.5 goals. And then the player props that I have for us is Rafinha to score anytime and Lamine Yamal to have a shot on target, because they really need this game. So I see everything here being green. If you want to do it as a bet builder, then you can. The next game that we have is Bayer Leverkusen versus Villarreal. Villarreal have lost their last 5, if not 6 games in the Champions League. I think the only point that they got was on the first match day, but since then they've lost all their games, and they playing for pride tomorrow. But then they're coming against Bayer Leverkusen side that needs this game. They need this game. Tomorrow is really crunch time for a lot of teams when it comes to qualifying. So a lot can happen. But we have seen it before. Teams that really don't have nothing to play for actually end up playing good, and you ask themselves, why didn't they play like this earlier on in the competition? But we are investors, and we are going to choose the right markets to play. So the picks that I have for this game, Villarreal to score anytime. But Leverkusen concede a lot of goals. That's their problem. They concede a lot of goals, and if you ask me, I think it's going to be both teams to score. So you can also add that as a value bet. The next game that you have is Benfica versus Real Madrid. As a Real Madrid fan, I'm scared for this game, because there's only 3 points that separate Madrid and all the teams from 3rd to 15th. So it's a must-win game for Real Madrid. But they're coming against the Benfica side that has struggled in the Champions League. They have not met expectations. You would have deemed them as the dark horses of the competition, but they haven't really done much. And as you can see, they score 0.9 goals per game in the competition, and they concede 1.4 goals per game. So my pick for this game is over 2.5 goals. If you want to take a risk, then you can take Madrid to win. I honestly think you can take Madrid to win. And then the next pick we have is Real Madrid to win either half. A value bet that we have is Madrid to win in full time. And then the player prop that we have is Mbappe to have 2+ shots on target. I honestly see that happening. And then the next game that we have is Dortmund versus Inter Milan. I really am not going to go much into this. My picks for this game is over 1.5 goals, no sending off, under 6.5 bookings, and the value bet that we have is Lautaro Martinez to have over 0.5 shots on target. The next game that we have is Club Brugge versus Olympique Marseille. My picks for this game is Marseille to win either half, over 2.5 goals, over 2.5 bookings. The next game that we have is Eintracht Frankfurt versus Spurs. My pick for this game is both teams to score and over 1.5 goals, because Frankfurt are already out of the competition, and Spurs have been a consistent team in the Champions League. They've only lost 1 game the whole of the league phase. So they might also win this game, but then to be safe, both teams to score and over 1.5 goals. The next game that you have is Liverpool versus Karabakh, and the pace is going to be Liverpool to win in full time, over 8.5 corners, and no sending off. The player props that we have is Dominic Szoboszlai to have a shot on target. The value bet that we have is Liverpool to win the first half. The last 6 games. City versus Galatasaray. My pace for this game is over 2.5 goals. But now I'm skeptical, so please tone it to over 1.5. Then Napoli versus Chelsea. My pace for this game is player props. I don't really have any other markets besides player props, so you can say Robert Sanchez to have 2+ saves, or Estavao to have a shot on target. Pafos versus Slavia Praga, straightforward over 1.5 goals. PSG versus Newcastle, over under 6.5 bookings, under 4.5 goals. And a player prop that we have is Bradley Bacola, 2+ shots. The last 2 games that they have is PSV versus Bayern. My pick for this game is Bayern to win in full time. I know they've already qualified, but I still think that they'll win this game, having lost on the weekend. The next game that we have is Union Saint Carlos versus Atalanta, and my pick for this game is over 2.5 bookings and BTTS. And so these are my sleeps for today. Double your money step, 2.23 odds, and I expect you to beat the Bookies today. It's a fourfold, and hopefully everything goes well. The first game that we have is FC Barcelona versus FC Copenhagen, and we are going to opt for over 2.5 goals for the game. And then the next game that we have is Borussia Dortmund versus Inter Milan, and we are going to opt for over 1.5 goals. And then the next game that we have is Al Ahly Saudi versus Al Ittifaq FC. Trust me when I say this, Saudi is blacklisted. Incompetent, too inconsistent. You look at the league when you don't bet and it's going good, but the moment you decide to place a bet, if everything is just abysmal. Because Al Nassr saw my bread on Monday. Even though in the VIP group we won all our slips, we've been winning for 3 days in a row. So obviously, if you want to join my VIP, you can always DM me in the comments, or you can always join the Telegram and the WhatsApp channel, and then you DM me. For the Al Ahly Saudi versus Al Ittifaq game, you're going to opt for home win or draw and over 1.5 goals. And then the last game that we have is AS Monaco versus Juventus, and you're going to opt for first 10 minutes draw. Meaning that if there's a draw in the first 10 minutes, like 0-0, 1-1, then our slip is green. So this is the first slip of the day. The 3-odd slip. I'm really going to cut to the chase with this one. The first game that we have is Atletico Madrid versus Bodo Glimt. Unfortunately, as bad as I'm rooting for Bodo Glimt, they've been playing some excellent football, but we are investors and we need to make the profit. And Atletico Madrid at home is actually a quite decent team. Domestically and European output, they're actually quite a decent team. So we're going to take Atletico Madrid to win. And then the next game that we have is Club Brugge versus Olympique Marseille. Considering that the signings that Olympique Marseille have made in January, they've actually done some good business acquiring the services of Ethan Nwaneri and Quinton Timber. And playoff qualification isn't guaranteed as of yet, so you have to give me Olympique Marseille to win either half. I'm sure the win either half is going to land. And then the next game that we have is SSC Napoli versus Chelsea, and we're going to opt for over 1.5 goals in the game. Pretty much straightforward, if you ask me. If there's no goals, then it's no surprise, because it's Italian teams, to be fair. And then the next game that we have is FC Barcelona versus Copenhagen, and we're going to opt for over 1.5 goals in Barcelona to win the game in full time. So this is my second sleep for today. Have for today is pretty much a long shot, if you ask me, because there's a lot of risks that are laid out from this. Like, it looks nice on paper, but honestly speaking, football is played on the grass. So let's get straight into it. So we have USG versus Atalanta, and you're going to opt for +2 goals handicap to USG. And then the next game that you have is Real Madrid versus SL Benfica. Benfica has been poor in the Champions League. Like they've, like I said in my video, they don't score a lot of goals and they concede a lot. So we're going to opt for away win or draw and over 2.5 goals. The next game that we have is Powerforce versus Slavia Prague, and we're going to opt for Powerforce to score anytime in the game. And the next game that we have is Liverpool versus Karabakh, and we're going to opt for Liverpool to win the first half. Then the next game that we have is Athletic Club versus Sporting Lisbon, and you're going to opt for Athletic Club to score under 2.5 goals. That's the risk in all this, because I do back Sporting to get the win at the end of the day, but anything can happen. And then the next thing that we have is Arsenal home or drawing over 2.5. I was looking for the match bet and the total, but then Sportybet isn't offering me that, which is kind of suspicious. Do they know that I'm on to them or whatever? But yeah. And then the next game that we have is a bet builder from Club Brugge versus Olympique Marseille, and you're going to opt for under 2.5, second half total. Yeah, I made a mistake. It's supposed to be second half total, not first half total. And then no sending off, no red card in the game. And then the next game that we have is Eintracht Frankfurt versus Tottenham Hotspur, and you're going to opt for Tottenham 1-up, meaning that if they lead the game at any point with 1 goal, then the slip is green. Our slip that we have for today is the biggest long shot of the day, but the thing about today is it's all or nothing. It's make or break. People want to buy their Maybachs. Maybach music. You understand? So yeah, the slip that I have here is 18 odds. You guys can cut it down. You don't have to place everything on the slip. You can cut it down. But then the first selection that we have is a bet builder from the Napoli game, over 7.5 corners and a 2-0 handicap to Napoli in the second half. The next game that we have is the next selection that we have is Dominic Szoboszlai to either score or assist. He's been carrying Liverpool, so if this doesn't hit, then it's just a long shot, man. It's a long shot. The next selection that we have is Manchester City versus Galatasaray, and we're going to opt for over 2.5 goals. The next selection that we have is also Benfica versus Real Madrid, and we're going to opt for Madrid to win. The next selection that we have is Frankfurt versus Spurs, and we're going to opt for both teams to score. The next thing that we have is Borussia Dortmund versus Inter Milan, and we're going to opt for away team to win either half. The next selection that we have is Club Brugge versus Olympique Marseille, and we're going to opt for over 1.5 goals. So these are my 4 slips for today, and hopefully we beat the Bookies.